How's it going?
Hey, Andy.
Doing good.
We gotta roll through this a little quick here, guys.
$1 million question, Josh Simmons. What have you seen so far? And also specifically, when you haven't taken a first-round offensive lineman in 12 years. What's the process for you as far as when Brett comes with you to say, here's a guy to look at, and especially with dealing with the injury? What was kind of the timeline and process?
The evaluation process really doesn't change from year to year, and I don't necessarily know where Brett and our scouting department's heads are at, so I just evaluate the draft. I get let's say they read my report, they mix it in with the others, but definitely saw Josh as a first round talent. We knew he had the knee, so the process here is job one, we got to get him healthy, so he's in with Rick and his staff. He's been doing a phenomenal job working with those guys, and then little by little he's been doing more and more with us out on the field. So it was nice today we were able to get him a few reps.
It seemed like the first time he was able to do team, I guess, just how did he come out of that, and what did you see in terms of that?
Yeah, well, the first thing, he came out of it really well. First thing you can see is his explosive nature. I mean, everything he does is super quick. So we're working on fine-tuning techniques. He's able to do individual work within certain limits, and so as we hone in on the techniques, I mean, we don't want to take away from his athleticism. That's one of his A+ strengths.
How has Kingsley taken to the guard position?
Yeah, very well. I mean, Kingsley's a guy that has great versatility. I think he can be phenomenal in their guard. We're still getting him a little bit of tackle work. I think he can play left tackle, right tackle in this league, either guard. He's another guy that's super explosive, very strong. He can give us a good, powerful presence inside. And I think he's having fun with it.
What makes him better suited to that spot than what he was doing last year?
Well, I don't know if I'd phrase it that way, but I
Okay.
think what makes him well suited to play guard is his size and strength. You really like some guys that can move people in there at that spot. I think he can do that, or firm up the pocket. We tell our guys we want him to firm that pocket at 3 yards, so his strength. And then he's just growing as a football player, whether it's at guard or at tackle, simply by being around that much longer, gaining experience, knowing our language that much better, knowing defense that much better, just experience.
Andy,
Last couple.
how do you look back at that situation with Kingsley a year ago? If you had the benefit of knowing what you know now, how do you just evaluate what you guys did with him a year ago?
Yeah, I think, we were hopeful that he'd jump in there and take that thing and run with it, knowing that there'd be some growing pains. Like we've done with some other players in the past, whether it was Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, we said, hey, rather than, wrecking a guy's confidence here, he might need to just take a step back. And so, Coach made the decision, hey, let's take a step back and still let him learn and grow, be ready to go. And we had to plug him in there a few times. So I don't think I would change how we did that.
We've learned that Brett and Trey's team are working on a long-term extension. I guess just how's the communication been with Trey throughout as he's kind of navigating that process?
Minimal. I don't really communicate with them. I'm just working on the guys that are here.
Last one,
Yeah,
Nick.
Andy, with how the final game ended for you guys last year, in terms of what you can control, what did you learn from that Eagles attack that can help you adjust accordingly?
Well, there's certainly something to take away from every game, win or lose. And, in that game, obviously, as an offensive line, we got whipped. And so I wouldn't say we use that as motivation, but anytime we step on the field, we want to be the ones that are controlling the line of scrimmage. So that's where we're at with that.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andy.